Okay, for part of this video I've basically just reset the controller, and just because I want to get the names all back to black, simplest way to get everything back to how it was. Plugged it into the power bar, it detected the power bar just as you saw before. Everything is there, the names are no longer there because I'm going to be now messing around with plugs and stuff, and this is just the simplest way to do it. I don't want any of the timers or anything I set before. So here we go. First of all, I'm going to first get out the temperature gauge, the temperature probe, and I have that over here, and get the end of it here, and it plugs in to, you can plug it into any one of these ports. You have 2 on each power bar, and once that's plugged in, the controller should detect it, and it's detected a new device. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to press, it's saying 28.8 degrees Celsius, and I'm going to just press OK. And it's added as a new widget here. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add in a level gauge. So I have my level gauge here, and straight out of the pack, and I'm going to plug it in, and these can only go in one way, so you don't have to worry. And that's in, and it should be detected. Good, that's detected. And I'm going to press OK. So now I have it called Live 2 or Level 2 and temperature. So those two are connected, and we're good to go. So next I'm going to get another probe. And by the way, this is how you do it with the Aquatronica systems. One thing at a time. First the power bar, then you can do any other thing you want to do, but one at a time. So I did first the temperature, then the level. Now I'm going to plug in a pH probe, and we'll see that one be detected. Okay, for any standard Aquatronica probe you need 3 things: the probe, the interface module, the 4 things actually, the casing, which covers over the BNC connector here, and you need the USB cable. So having all 4 of those things here at my disposal, I'm going to now show you how you hook them up and get them going. So first thing I'm going to do is get this USB cable, which I left over there, and I have that here. And first you just want to screw on the BNC connector. It locks in like that. All right. Next, open the bag, put the parts here. This is a wall mount unit, so that you can you can clip the thing on. That would normally go like this. You would put in your 2 screws into your wood or whatever that you have for the backing, and then this clips on like this, and it holds it. So if you want to take it off, you can just take it off. This remains on thing. You get the screws, then you get some sizing. You get some little sizing washers here, and basically, I don't know, I guess the smallest one here for this. Put it on to the cable like that. One side of this goes on like this. The washer fits into this little slot you'll see. And I'm having a hell of a time getting it into that little slot. Maybe it's because I need to use a bigger washer. probably use this one. Fit that over it. Fit this into the slot. And then the top goes over. And it should click together like that. And there you have it totally secured. Next, USB cable. So you're going to hook up your USB cable to it. And that just plugs straight in. Just make sure you watch the direction per typical any USB cable. And that's that. And these other components, you can put them aside till you're ready for mounting. So basically there you have the full setup there for any one probe. And it's the same. I won't bother to show you for the others. It's exactly the same setup for every probe. So next thing you want to do is plug it into a USB slot, and I'm gonna do that. But first let me set back up the controller so you can see what's going on. Okay, I have the pH probe connected up to the interface, and I'm going to plug it into the USB port here, and that's in, and it should be detected. And yes, it detected it, and it says S01 sensor board and pH 5.37, and we just press OK. And that's now added into the widgets. And let me do the same thing for the other probe. I'm going to hook up the redox probe, and I'm going to hook up the salinity probe. So next I think I'll do the salinity first. And I won't bother showing you this because just the detection part, and that'll be that, because you see how to build the casings and stuff. Okay, I have the conductivity probe assembled, and I'm going to plug that in now. It's plugged in. Waiting for it to detect. And it detected it. Okay, density probe. Press OK. And the density probe is there. And you can see that right here. Okay. Do the next one, which is the ORP probe, and see what, and connect that one up. Before I go and set the level, let me set one more power unit. Go back into power units, and I'm gonna change the name on one more of them. So I'll pick the fourth one here, or the fifth one I should say, E, and I'm gonna name this RO pump. Alright. So that would be the pump that you would use, or the solenoid you would use. You could call it RO solenoid, RO pump, depending on what you're using to put RO water into your tank to compensate for low water level in your sump, and press OK. So that's just one more named, and go back into the main menu now. Okay, so now I'm going to deal with naming the level sensor and set that one up for our water level. And here you see the unit. Sorry, it doesn't have the shield on it. It's just the raw thing. I haven't put the shield or the holder on. But if it was down like this, that would be low water in the sump. If it was up, the sump would be fine. Okay? So keep that in mind here. So I'm going to go over and I'm going to go to level here, and I'm going to first change the name on this sensor, and I'm going to call it sump level. And press OK. So now you can see the name has changed to sump level. Now if you notice, it uses that live 2, and if I go this way it'll go to live 1 as some translation thing. It doesn't really matter, but level 1, level 2. Okay? But the lovely thing about Aquatronica is that they give you these measuring units for even the levels. So you have your choices here: high, low, high, okay, okay, high, low, okay, okay, low. Now, in this case, what we want is live 1 to be low and live 2 to be okay, or level 2 to be okay. So we're going to pick low, okay, and then press OK over here. So now when it's up, it's okay. If the water level drops down, it shows low, and that is programmed in the measuring units the way you need it. You might need it in the reverse order for some other things where you want it to be high in one direction, low in the other direction. They give you your choices of how you want to set this up. So great there. Next thing I want to do is set an alarm. An alarm is basically going to be like a program in this case. I'm going to press alarm. I'm going to select this same level sensor, my only level sensor, and it knows right away that it's an alarm I want, so it's already put that into the first programming slot, right? You could do different things here and change the programming to program for something else like a plug, but since I'm here doing this, this is the way you'd want to do it. So I have that in there, alarm. I don't need to use the plus because it's already added it. I just go next, and I pick sump level. Is already, the input selection is already sump level. That's put in for you, and now you have the reference value, and I want the alarm to go off when it's low. Now this time filters, a little bit of translation thing here. It's basically like a hysteresis where the unit will only respond and set off an alarm after a certain amount of time has passed. Now if your sump is turbulent and occasionally the float switch is going up and down, you definitely don't want to leave that at 0, because then you'll get it going off and on the alarm. The other thing is, when your RO water kicks in, you don't want to get an alarm and then your RO water brings it up while the alarm is going off, and then of course then the alarm will go off, but every time your sump goes low you get an alarm. So either way, I use a pressurized 3-gallon tank, and when I get a low sump level, basically within 3 to 4 seconds it's typically up, and I then have it send water for another additional probably 10 seconds so that the solenoid is not switching on and off too often. But since I know within 3 to 4 seconds it'll typically correct itself, I want to just set that the alarm doesn't come on unless more than that length of time has passed. So I'll go in here and set this no hours, no minutes, and say 5 seconds. And I press OK. So there you see they're set there, and you press next. And now you want the message. So if 5 seconds has passed and it's still low, I need to set a message. And the message I'm going to put is sump level low. And that's fine. And now I want to know, it wants to know if you want sound notifications. And if yes, you want sound. So you press that, and their sound will come with it. So they'll get a beep when it's low. And I press next. And the timeout, you don't have to worry about that. You don't want the alarm to time out. You want it to keep going so long as the sump is low. For other devices, you might need a program timeout, but not in this case. So I press next. And now it's under the programs. And by the way, I should add, if I go into the menu and I go back, if I go into overview, I can see the devices that are hooked up to the unit right now. The power unit, the sump level, tank temp, pH density, and redox. And if there's more, you can scroll through more of them with pages. And go back to the first page. But also under programs, there's the program that I just put in. And you can add in a program using this. You can highlight a program somewhere and then press the minus to erase it, or you can edit it by using the pencil unit here. So this is selected already, and if I press that, I can see the program I put in, sump level. I just hit next because I'm just looking at it. Next, right? Next, alarm, sound, next, and next. Okay, so that was just showing you that you can edit any of the programs from that one widget. So we'll go back to the menu. And basically now that is programmed. And I will demonstrate that. Okay, so demonstrating that. And you can see here sump level is okay. I have it over here. And that would be up high, that the water was at the right level, and if the water was to drop, it goes low. 5 seconds, bang, alarm, sump level low. And if I bring it back up, the alarm goes. So that's basically working fine. Okay, I didn't bother to show you. I named the temperature here tank temperature, because on my tank I have 2 temperature probes. One is the outdoor temperature and one is the water temperature. So I'm just going to go in and name the last 2 that are left. Let's go to pH and change name. Hit pH here, and this would be tank pH. Press OK. So that's the tank pH. And the reason I do that is because if I put this on my own system, I'd have another one here for the calcium reactor pH. So I'd want to put a calc pH there, and I need to distinguish which is which. So I'm just naming it here to show you, because a lot of guys do have calcium reactors, and you want to know that. Or they have auto water changing, and they want to know the pH of the water in the container that is holding that water. So they would have a second pH probe. So that's there, and that's done. Name is changed, and now tank, we can set an alarm for this, but I'm not going to set the alarm just yet, because in order to set, if I set the alarm now, it's probably just going to go off wildly. The probe has not been calibrated. So next thing we want to do is probably calibrate the probe.